What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I am not in my house. Where the heck am I? No, I'm actually in Ryan Salzman's house. I want to introduce you guys to Ryan. If you don't know Ryan, he is a Bass Pro Tour angler. He actually had a win this last year on the Bass Pro Tour, his rookie season, so that's pretty awesome. But what I want to do today is I want to pick Ryan's brain a little bit. I want to ask him a few questions about sort of his mindset and what sets him apart as a professional angler from just say your average weekend angler, because I think this is something that not a lot of guys talk about, that I think is super important as a professional or as a high level angler that people don't really dive into, and that is the mindset and the mentality behind the profession. There's a lot that goes on up here that it doesn't really matter what's in your, what you're casting, what bait's on the end of your line, what rod and reel setup you have, how you've got your boat rigged, any of that stuff. A lot of it happens up here, and I want to pick Ryan's brain a little bit and kind of hear what he has to say about his mindset on the water and sort of what he feels sets him apart as an angler. So let's dive right into it, and I'll introduce you to Ryan. All right, guys, so I got my buddy Ryan Salzman here. I'm gonna pick his brain a little bit, ask him a few questions. I'm gonna move this around to where he's in front of the camera and I'm not. You guys see me a bunch, so I'm gonna have Ryan talk a little bit. We're kind of in his little studio room right here. What do you call this room?
Studio.
Studio?
Yep.
We just got done doing a little podcast, so you guys should go check out his channel on YouTube. It's Alabama Bass Guide, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Alabama Bass Guide on YouTube, so go check it out, guys. You should see the podcast from tonight. I don't know when he'll post it. My video might be up after. Time frame doesn't matter. Just go check out his channel.
We'll post that next Monday. So okay. I don't know when this video will be out, but he'll link it in here somewhere.
Yeah, I'll put it down in the link below. You guys can check that out. Click the link in the comment section, or not comment section, the... what is it? Video description. See, I'm rusty, guys. Anyway, let's pick Ryan's brain about sort of his mentality as an angler and what he believes sets him apart.
Well, this is great because I actually just did a whole seminar with the Bass University. If you're not a member of the Bass University, go become a subscriber because there's a lot of great content, including a more detailed version of what I'm going to tell you. So I did, it was how to be a proficient angler, and they wanted to get into really the mindset, and I told this story on there. I used to be the guy that when I was fighting a fish, I'd have many panic attacks, and I'd run around the boat, oh God, he's gonna get off, get the net, get him in the boat. And I'd always be freaking out, acting like a fool, right? And if you see me on camera now, I'm a lot more calm and collected. My second year on tour, it wasn't a good year for me. I mean, I was consistent, but I was consistently the first guy out of the check or cut line all year. And coming up to Erie at the last event, I had a good day one. It's like 17 pounds. And I've always been a positive guy, like I think I'm going to catch them, I'm not out of it, this and that. And that's all cool. But I was running all the way across the Detroit River on day one. It was massive waves. Got there, caught them, got back. So that was a blessing in of itself. And day two, I go back. I think I was in 20-something place, and all of a sudden I have two fish at 1:30, and I got to run 2 hours back, and I'm like having, I was going through my divorce, I was going through a really hard time. That was first year, going through it, and hadn't made any money all year, and I know that I'm blowing a $10,000 check, and probably because we had to requalify in the top 100, my chance to fish again next year, qualification-wise and monetarily. So I'm like, oh my God. So all these emotions are running through me, and it's just a very stressful time in my life. But I'm still like, I've always been really good about, you got to make the next decision, you got to move, and there's more to it. I'm getting there. Stay with me. So I got 10 minutes left to fish, and I have two fish. I have all these isolated rock piles marked in the mouth of the Detroit River. I roll up to one that I haven't hit yet because I'm like, oh, there's a number. I throw up, boom, first cast, catch it's like a 3. So I was like, okay, we got a chance. Throw it out there, and I'm like, got 5 minutes. I'm like, there's nothing, because it was you pull up, you catch one, you leave. And I'm like, there's one wave one I haven't hit. Roll up to it, fire over there, get a bite, pulls my drop shot, warm them off. I had several sitting there. I just hook another one. I'm bombing up there, hook it. It's a big one. And I got like 2 minutes before I got to go. And everyone watching this can feel that moment where your stomach goes, you get that queasy, you're like getting nervous, and you're just like, oh God. And you're like, it shakes, and you're like, this is the moment. You have all this adrenaline going through you. And man, I'm fighting that fish, and I'm like, this is $10,000. I'll have 12, 13 pounds, and I'll get a check. And they don't want to quit. And I'm fighting it, and I'm like, and I'm starting to have a panic attack, like freak out, like legit. You know, like if you've ever seen me, sometimes I get excited. And I see that fish, and he just won't come to the net. He'll go, zzz. And mind you, day one, I could have had 24 pounds. I jumped off like 4 or 5 4-pounders, 4 pluses, like of 6 jumped off at my face. So I have all these images coming back through my head to where I'm going to lose this fish. And there was a moment when I was fighting this fish that all this stress just culminated to a point. And I started bawling while I was fighting this fish. Like, just started crying. I was just so much emotion going on because I know it's $10,000. My future's on the line right now. And I just said, God, I trust you. And in that moment, it was that much, as quiet as it was then, I had that much peace come over me. And as soon as I said that, I got goosebumps right now. As soon as I said that, the fish come up, went to the net, put it in the box, went back to weigh in, and then got my $10,000 check. And then the next year, I qualified for the Bass Pro Tour. And it was in that moment that I put all my trust in God and the results for Him to take care of that. I'm gonna go fish my best. It really changed my fishing and allowed me to level up. So you can be positive all you want, but for me, it was until I really just surrendered everything over to God and Christ that I really upped my fishing game. So I would say He upped it,
nice.
Right? So
Nice.
That's my whole testimony on mindset.
Well, I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, everybody's got their thing that helps kind of drive them. And it's so important to believe in something. And obviously you need to believe in yourself. I mean, that's the most important part.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have to have belief that you can do what you have your mindset to go do. I mean, I know for me growing up, my dream was always to do this. Always to fish professionally.
Yeah, same.
You know, and so it's like believing in yourself and staying true to that and sticking to something and seeing something out. You know, so many times in life you can start something but then not follow through. And so I think it's so important to just stay driven, and if you've got what it takes, a lot of this sport, it just comes from that like drive.
It's grit. You got to have the grit. The grittiest people make it in pro fishing, man. And all of us want it, you know, and you just got to do something that really sets you apart. And so like my path, the way I made it pro fishing, I went to college, I was on the fishing team, I got a marketing degree, which those are all things that I recommend people do because, you know, this industry is very driven by sponsorships. But basically, everyone's doing that now. So you got to find something to kind of separate yourself. So I ran out of money for school, joined the military, and basically just found my own way. I was in the National Guard. Somehow I started a swim bait company. And then all this down the road, True Bass helped me. My swim bait company helped me become pro because it allowed me to have enough money to make it. So, but there's a different path. Jacob's path is different than mine. Some people literally just win their way to the top, like Jordan Lee. You know, I mean, everyone has a different path. So just try to be open-minded about your path. You know, and
absolutely. Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I mean, you just have to, you know, stay true to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just follow whatever it is that makes sense for you. And I think that you can accomplish whatever you set your mind out to do. I mean, if professional bass fishing, whatever it is. But anyway, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for talking to me and to these guys. I know that, you know, fishing stories are always great to hear. And I think it's so important. I really want to take the time to focus my channel on more of like the mentality of fishing rather than just like, here's how you rig a bait.
Right.
Here's the right rod and reel setup for this technique.
Right. And I gave a big, you know, like that was like my core value of like fishing, what helps me fishing. But every day, like I'm gonna get them. That's how I'm like, I'm gonna catch them. Yep. So I'm getting after it.
Fired up.
I'm fired up. You know, what gets me going these days is competition and my newfound love of making videos. So actually making videos gets me fired up too now. Like, absolutely. I'm gonna go catch them for this video.
Yeah, it gives you a purpose to go out there and catch fish.
Because, you know, you do it so long, you kind of lose that motivation and purpose. So you kind of got to reinvent that for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that was pretty cool. Like I said, you know, everybody's got their own kind of path that they take and route and mindset in this industry and sport and sort of what helps drive them. And, you know, you guys have kind of heard my spiel, and, you know, I I think it's awesome. I want to pick people's brains. I kind of want to do this with other anglers, and I want to do it with Mikey Balls for sure, because Mikey's got a different outlook on this. He's not a professional angler. He's just an angler that likes to make videos. So Mikey has a good outlook on stuff too. He's totally different the way he looks at stuff, and so I want to pick his brain. But I just want to say thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for talking to the subscribers. I know that they appreciate hearing other opinions rather than just me talking to myself in my fishing room. So anyway, with that, guys, we're going to sign out. Catch you next time on another episode of Jake Ball Fishing.